Hello. Have you ever gotten a wig that has cold set? And that sort of means that there might be some like crimping or bending in the fibers. This can be especially true in the non-heat safe fibers, although heat safe fibers, it can happen as well. I think because you can put heat on heat safe and it's fine, it's not as big of a deal. But if you want to know sort of how to fix that, then this is the video for you. So let's get to it. Hi, I'm Tia, wig coach, wig educator, and owner of Tia Maria Wigs Boutique. You can find us online at tmwigs.com, and you can visit us in person at 220 West Plum Street, Suite 450 in Edinboro, PA, and the phone number to make appointments is 814-853-5209. So today, let me move you down because we're going to do something real good today. If you've watched any of my live sales, or even if you've watched me on YouTube for a while, you know that I have an affinity for discontinued wigs. So before we get started today, I want to explain why and why I think you might want to as well. One of the reasons that I love a discontinued wig is that I think sometimes it's like styles and colors that maybe might not be like on trend today. I'm not a big trendy person. I like to just wear clothes and do things with my hair before and wigs now that I just want to. And sometimes I want something very specific. So I feel like you can find stuff that is a little bit older, not like a new release, that may fit some of your needs, wants, desires, things like that. Listen, we can wear whatever we want. If we're going to buy the hair, it's ours. So sometimes I feel like buying wigs that are discontinued are going to get you some looks that you might not readily be able to get. The other thing is, in my long-term collections, almost every single wig that I have kept in my personal collection is always a discontinued wig because I can't get it again. And I don't know why, but I like baby and value wigs that I can't get again a lot more than wig that I could like replace, even though replacing it would still be, cost money. If I can get it again, I don't feel like I value it as much. And that's just me. So if you have feelings about that, like put that down below because I'm curious. But the other cool thing about discontinued styles is that you can often get sort of cap constructions, elevated cap constructions, meaning like this one here that we're going to be working on is Syntress's Blazing Star. This is a company owned by Tressalore. They have actually gotten rid of the entire line, but these caps were very elevated, silicone features, full monotops, lace fronts. And I often feel like getting sort of a discontinued wig, they're often less expensive than they were when they were not discontinued, can help you explore cap constructions a little bit. There's kind of a difference between, like for instance, this one's $199, right? It's a difference between getting this one than getting, one that's maybe $500 that has these, fully hand-tied caps and things like that. I have a bunch of wigs that I sell on my live sales and on my website that might be fully hand-tied caps. And so if you ever wanted to try one, I always feel like try a discontinued one because sometimes certain features are good for certain people, ways of styling, needs, things like that. My actual favorite cap construction is a wide lace front edge, which means the lace only goes back to here, but it is temple to temple. I can part it wherever I want, but the rest of the cap is machine made. It's not a monotop. It's not all those different things. That's actually what I prefer. I think the other thing about discontinued styles is I carry 37 brands, and some of these brands have hundreds, and I mean hundreds of styles. Or styles that are older, just like anything else. The newer thing is getting pushed. You're seeing a lot of reviews on it. You're seeing a lot of this. You're seeing a lot of that. But there's really beautiful, tried, true styles. So maybe not even just discontinued, but maybe a style that just is a little bit older. It's not a new release. There are trendy hair things, but there's certain things about hair that are just going to be consistent. And especially if you're wearing your wig and you want people to think like it's your bio hair, you definitely want to stay with something that's similar. Even if you can't get that wig again, you want to stay with something similar. So this just kind of opens it up. I'm really not big on new releases. Like I'm a retailer, so I do talk about new releases and get them. But in general, I kind of like something to be around for a minute. I kind of like the let's get the multiple reviews, let's get the wear tests in. You know what I mean? Like, let's get some more information in before we jump into the new styles. That's like sort of Tia as a wig coach and then Tia as a retailer. Sometimes they are at odds a little bit, but I'm always going to be someone that does not discount, meaning, you know, not value discontinued styles or older styles. And I'm always going to bring you that stuff because that's what I believe in. Okay. Long story short. So this wig I love. We're down to the last of these. This is Blazing Star. I actually owned Blazing Star in this exact same color and I got rid of it. And then when I realized there's literally only 2 left, I think I have 1 more in this color and a couple other colors. I thought, you know what? Not only do I want it, I want to keep it because that's my thing. You know, if I can't get it again, I have to have it. I absolutely love this color. This is the 12/8. And I wanted to wear it. So I just took it out of the box. This is literally out of the box. I did clip it out of my face because I was driving over to the store and I didn't want it all on my face. So this is sort of how it is coming out of the box. Now, just so you know the cap construction, hand-tied lace front. This is a silk top and it does have the silicone strip in there. So, you know, the features of this cap are really, really, really nice. But as you can see, cold setting happens when something's been sitting in a box, maybe there's temperature fluctuations, and you'll get this sort of like bending or like crimping in places. And you may not really want to. There should be a slight wave to it, but it should be kind of smooth, and it doesn't feel smooth, especially right in here. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to fix it. It's not a hard fix, so let's go ahead and fix it, because you may get a wig and it may not even be that old, but depending on how it was stored in the warehouse and all of that, it could sort of have set in a particular way. So now this is a monotop. So one thing about monotops is that it can be parted anyway, but also it can be parted anyway. So we want to make sure, we meaning me, where I want this to sit, because as we're going to fix the cold setting, we can also go through and do some styling and setting of the part the way that I want it. All right, this is all the hair to the front. I have it parted and brought to the front, okay? The other thing is some older styles, the fibers can feel a little dry. That's really not something that you can not fix. Like, you can totally fix that. So we're going to be addressing all of those things with this wig. Okay. So I'm using the heat of my hand to just sort of smooth the fibers. You see, I'm not using a comb or anything yet. I'm kind of getting it where I want it. Do you see how it should be more like this? And there is a definite like crink right here, but I am sort of like just smoothing down the fiber, seeing what we're working with. And I feel like there's levels of intervention. So the first intervention would be water. Then, because this is a non-heat safe piece, the other intervention we're going to use is this NV 3-in-1 air styler on the cool setting. And then if we have to, we can go ahead and use either the Renee Paris flat iron, which is made for non-heat safe synthetics, or we can use the medium heat, well, it's low heat function for this, which is also okay for non-heat safe synthetics. But we're always going to start with the least intervention possible. So the first thing is I've just sort of coaxed it with my hands to kind of be where I want it. I'm actually going to grab my glasses because I can't see, and my little hand mirror. I like when a part does where it's not like straight necessarily. I kind of like that. I feel like it's more natural. See, it's kind of going back and curved. And sometimes you just want to kind of, I like to just put my hands in with these monotops and see where it almost naturally wants to fall. And if I like that, I'll keep it. And if not, I will change it. Yeah, but I do like how that looks. This is just me. All right, so I'm going to grab my glasses, and then I'm going to get my water bottle, which is right over here. We're going to get our detangling comb. And we're going to get this air styler. Now this is what it looks like. And you have these 3 different tools. This is the attachment that I use like literally 99% of the time, period, point blank. But I'm not doing any like major curling or anything. But when I'm fixing wigs, when I'm smoothing wigs, I literally use that 99% of the time. If I want a slight curl, I like this one with the brush, but I use this one almost always. So just take this out. You can also purchase this on my website. It does come with the little directions in there. I actually store mine in the box because I just like how it is. And then you just put this in here and click it. Okay, let me get my glasses. Yeah, so I think that is where I want it to be. Maybe like just slightly more. And again, I'm just using my fingers, and I really do this, like this whole back and forth until I feel like it's where I want it. Yeah, I think this is where I want it to be. All right, so what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna use the water, and I'm gonna just wet this down. And I'll do it one side at a time. Normally I wouldn't, but I just want to show you. I'm going to go ahead and hold these fibers, and I'm just going to sort of work this through and see sort of where we're sitting once I use the water. I do feel like for me, because I've had this wig before, just on the ends, it does feel a tiny bit dry. Not anything that's not doable, but I also don't want it to get any drier. So what I'm going to do is actually use the Tressalor Dual Leave-In Conditioner, and we've wetted it a little bit, and I'm just going to work this product on through, because when we use the air styler, it will, if there's any dryness or anything that needs to be sort of fixed or repaired, then it will have the product in there and we'll be able to do that. So normally I would like this to go sort of back like this. So this is how we're going to coax it whenever we use the air styler. I don't feel like we need the air styler in this area. There's no like real cold set or anything. So I'm actually going to use styling clips to clip this down, and then we can go the rest of the way. Whenever I do this, because I want this hair to go out like this, I actually twist this a little bit. So as it dries, it will be sort of twisted towards going this way. Do you see how it's wanting to go that way? I do that on purpose. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. You should always detangle from the bottom and then move up. I like to hold the fibers above, like if I feel like there is not even necessarily a tangle, but it needs a little extra effort, I always like to hold it above there just so that I don't accidentally pull on the fibers too much. That's just what I like to do. And now we're going to spray some of that dual leave-in conditioner. This one I need to clean the nozzle. This is like the demo one that I have in the boutique. And the nozzle needs to be cleaned. It's just like any other aerosol. You run it under hot water. It'll just clean out the gook in the nozzle. Alrighty. That feels better. So again, we're going to do the same thing on this side, where we're just going to twist this a little bit, and then I'm going to clip it down, and then we will work on the rest of the wig. And this is really a process that you should only need to do, you know, the initial time. This isn't something you do like all the time. So if you have a situation like this, you know, make sure you have a little bit of time. It's not taking me a ton of time to do this, but this isn't one where you're going to get this out of the box and be like, oh, I have to run out the door. This one you're going to want to have prepped ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to repart it. Make sure it's equal on either side. I'm going to comb through it, and I'm combing it because I want it to go like this and sort of be smooth but kind of go out like that. So I'm combing it that way. If you haven't tried this dual leave-in conditioner, it is like, it's so necessary for wig wearers. Like, it really, really is. I have a bunch of videos and stuff on my channel about it, but all right. We're moving through that real nice. Okay, so we're gonna get this, and you can, it shows that you can have low, medium, high. This is the heat. Low, medium, high down here, and then this is how high this goes. And then you can have the cool air setting on, which is right here. It can be on or off. I'm going to start with the cool setting first. Okay, so it's looking nice, but I do see a little bit of the cold setting right here. So now I'm going to go on the very lowest temperature, turn the cool setting off, and then we're going to use just a small amount of heat only where I feel like it's necessary. So I'm going to take this clip out. All right, so you can see it's already looking better, it's feeling better. And on this low setting here, it's barely any heat. Like sometimes I have to double check to make sure I don't still have the cool function on. So it's not using a ton of heat, and it's really smoothing it all out. And it's also kind of drying it. So I'm just gonna go through and do the rest and dry this side, and then we'll work on the other side. Okay, I turned it off because sometimes, and this is just me, like I'll go over something over and over and over again, and I didn't want you to be like on here with me while I went over it like 100 times just to essentially get it to look the same. But I'm really happy with this side. It looks really, really pretty. And so you can kind of see how this side looks. And now we're going to go ahead and fix the other side. The one thing I did want to say is don't be afraid to like do this on a mannequin head. When I had bio hair, my bio hair was very long and curly, and I used to straighten it and style it and flat iron it a lot. So to me, styling on my head is very natural to me, but I know a lot of people, especially if they didn't have a lot of bio hair to begin with, or it was very thin, and they didn't have a lot of experience styling their own hair, styling a wig on yourself may be a little bit more challenging. And the way you hold, like the way you hold this, if you were doing it on a wig head, is different because I'm doing it like up and over. So don't be afraid to do that. All right, so we're gonna go through and do this side. It already feels so good. It feels very nice, and I'm very happy with it. So let's do this side, and I'm gonna start in the front here and take the clip out. I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna do the same thing, start with the cool air and then move in with the low heat. Okay, if you ever wonder why I'm looking over there, there's a bigger mirror over there. I need my glasses to see close up. And so if I'm trying to style it, I don't have like another mirror. I'm just using the, you know, the camera viewfinder thing. So I have to make sure I can see. All right, the nice thing about using the water and the leave-in conditioner and then this is that you're able to like dry it as well as style it a bit. Like I absolutely love the Renee Paris flat iron, especially if you have a lot of repair to do to I mean, I've used it on heat safe and human hair, but specifically non-heat safe, it really does the trick. But I like the air styler because it does have sort of that like blow dry feature. This is not like a problem with the wig. Like it's very nice now. We're fixing all of the issues. I just want this to go a little bit more out. Like that's a styling thing. So what I'm gonna do is pull this up. I'm gonna clip one of these over here because I wanna get each layer. And then I'm gonna style this, use the air styler to make this go back away like this instead of falling like this, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm working on next. I mean, you could use this technique if you have bio hair and you want to use this tool. It's amazing. You can use this technique for that, or even if it is heat safe. But we're talking about a non-heat safe synthetic because I think that's where not only it can be the most challenging, but also I think for people, you know, you hear non-heat safe, you think, well, I can't do anything to change or fix or what have you. So I feel like I'm happy with where it is. I am going to get some wig wax just to keep the front from flopping. You know me, I don't like flopping. And then we will be done. So I'm going to get the wig wax. And because I definitely want to promote this to go back away from my face, I'm going to pull my fingers through here and I'm going to spray all of the sort of underside of the fibers at the base. And then work the product through, comb it the way I want, and then let it dry, and then that'll be that. Most likely I'll end up clipping this out of my face because that's what I do every single time. But for right now, she feels so smooth. I like how she looks. It's very pretty. You know what? I want a little more. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. That's the other reason why I do these videos, and there is a little bit of time sort of cut out where I'm just repeatedly doing this over and over and over again. But I think it's really important, as I'm like doing my own wigs that I'm wearing, not just for a review. I do like to show this kind of stuff because sometimes I think people can get the impression when you're watching a review and the wig looks great that you just like threw it on and it ended up looking like that. Even if it's a great wig, even if it's a beautiful wig, you do have to play with it sometimes. And so that's the other reason why I wanted to do this video, because it's really important that you know that a lot of the videos that you're seeing, if you're not seeing them take it out of the box and put it on, they've probably done a little bit to it. They probably played around with it a bit. So don't get discouraged when you just take it right out of the box and you have to play around with it. Okay. Not going to play with this anymore. So that is what I have for you. If you like these type of videos, please put that down below. What kind of video would you like me to do next in sort of like the real wig life scenario? Please put that down below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. Give me a little thumbs up and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!